AEW Dynasty 2024 was last night, and there's a lot to be said about this show. We're gonna get straight into it. Let's talk about the highs, lows, and crazy moments from AEW Dynasty 2024. Subscribe. Alright, we had a 3-match pre-show to start off the show. I only saw this pre-show in bits. We had Trent versus Sydal, Matt Sydal to open this show. This is a match I did not see. I did see that Trent did, of course, pick up the win. We then had Orange Cassidy and Shibata against Shane Taylor Promotions, and this match was really good from what I saw. I thought Lee Moriarty was the MVP of the match, and him and Orange Cassidy were working, with Cassidy and Shibata obviously picking up the win. You then had the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus the Bang Bang Gang for the Undisputed Trios titles. Max Caster definitely gonna get in trouble for his bars, like he said in his pre-match rap. They were very questionable bars, and this was actually a surprisingly good match though. I thought that this was actually a decent match, but the issue is, the entire time, I just wanted the match to end. Every single pinfall that the Bang Bang Gang got, I was just like, please let it be a 3, please get these titles off the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. And they did, as JY and the Gunmen picked up the win, and they are the new Undisputed Trios champions, and hopefully this is the start of a Trios title revival, and we can get these titles back to form. The opener of the show is Pac versus Kazuchika Okada for the AEW Continental Championship, which was a super hot match to open the show. This match was hot from the start to the end. The crowd was super into it, justified "This is awesome" chants. Big moments and bumps like Okada DDTing Pac from the barricade to the concrete floor. And Okada on American soil he's just been so great so far. Pac tries to hit the Black Arrow multiple times, but after the second time, Okada avoids it and hits a gnarly Rainmaker to retain the title in an absolutely awesome opener. We then move into the next trios match, as it's Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe against the House of Black. This was classic AEW Trios mayhem. It was a good match, a good standard all-star tag. I will say though, I don't know what's up with Malachi, because Malachi got in there, hardly took any bumps, and I feel like was barely involved in the match compared to the other 5 guys in this match. Regardless though, House of Black get the win, which was shocking to see. I didn't think they would get the win, but it's good, and it's good for the future of the Trios titles potentially, because House of Black getting a bit of new form going, maybe challenge for the Trios title again. That, or maybe a TNT title program with Malachi and Adam Copeland could be coming. I could see Christian Cage joining up with Copeland to face them maybe. This is where they finally do Cope and Christian teaming up in AEW, because that's gonna happen at some point. Speaking of the House of Black, it's House of Black member Julia Hart defending her TBS championship against Willow Nightingale next. And I thought this was a decent match. This was probably the best Julia Hart match since that triple threat with Sky Blue and Chris Statlander where she won the belt. It was a short but sweet match. It was shorter, probably due to Julia Hart's recent reported injuries, but Willow reverses the moonsault and hits the gut-wrench powerbomb to win the title. Awesome moment, feel-good moment, huge pop, and great to see Willow winning the title. And of course, Mercedes Moné came out post-match, and she stares down Willow Nightingale as those two are facing off for the belt at Double or Nothing. That match is going to be awesome, and it seems like they're treating it as a big deal. I mean, it's the first match announced for the show, so I'm very much looking forward to that match. We go into Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong for the international title up next, and man, this match was so good. These two guys were working. It was a very hard-hitting match, and that's to be expected. These two guys, they're hard-hitting wrestlers, and they're friends. They've worked each other so many times, and they're just gonna beat the crap out of each other, just smack the living shit out of each other, and that's exactly what they did. They had a really awesome sequence where they were trying to one-up each other with hard-hitting strikes, who can go harder, and it ended up with a flying knee from Roderick Strong and both men going down and selling, getting "This is awesome" chants from the fans immediately. The crowd was so hot for this match. It was just two guys destroying each other. There was no shenanigans from the Undisputed Kingdom, no interference other than failed distraction from Wardlow, which was good that it didn't go through and didn't affect the match in any way, because the match didn't need that. This was my personal match of the night, and Roderick Strong got the win and retained the title. And a big moment post-match, as at the end of the match, Adam Cole and the Kingdom came out, and Adam Cole rose from his wheelchair and began walking. It looks like Adam Cole is back, and they also teased Adam Cole turning on Wardlow, which was very interesting. But like I said, personal match of the night for me, and I wonder what's next for Kyle O'Reilly. I wonder where he goes from here. We then go into Hook versus Chris Jericho, which this was of course the piss break match, but I will say it did actually exceed my expectations a bit because they did fully commit to the FTW rules. They had just a weapons match, which is good. We didn't need a one-on-one regular contest. That would have been extremely boring. Just get Jericho getting hit with weapons. That's what we like to see. However, the issue came with the ending of the match because Jericho won. Yeah, he hits the Judas effect twice on Hook, who kicks out of them both 2 consecutive times, made him look awesome, made him look very strong. And then Chris Jericho just smacked him with the bat and got the 1-2-3 and wins the FTW title. The fans have completely turned on Jericho. They were like, please retire chants or something at Jericho, or telling him to go home. And yeah, he did not need to win the FTW title here. I hope Hook wins it back, but for now, just terrible booking. And if the rumors of Hook wanting to leave are indeed true, then I see why at this point. Next up was Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's World Championship. This was a really good, solid match. I think this was probably the best match of timeless Toni Storm as a character so far. And I'd also say it's the best Thunder Rosa match since her return as well. Good return to form for both of them doing what we know they can do. There was of course some ringside shenanigans with Deonna Purrazzo coming out and choosing violence and destroying Luther, brawling to the back with Mariah May, and Toni Storm picks up the win with a Storm Zero, retaining the Women's World Championship. Still not a clue who's going to beat Toni for the title. Maybe it's Mariah at this point, maybe it's still Deonna. Time will tell. Good match here. And then of course we move on to the main match of the night, the match that the most people were probably looking forward to, which is Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. I just can't do any words to give this match any justice. It's a match of the year contender. It's all the stars in the world. A 35-minute barn burner from 2 of the best wrestlers in the world. Like I said, I don't think words will do it justice. Just watch it yourself. Regardless, there were some awesome combinations and counters and sequences. There was the Oz Cutter that was reversed into the Bazaiku knee, which was one of the craziest reversals ever. The fans went nuts. They then had like a mid-air duel where Ospreay won, hitting like a forearm in mid-air, then hit a Tiger Driver, and then hit that elbow to the back of the head and beat Danielson clean. Danielson is doing crazy selling after the match with doctors tending to him. Really great work from both these lads here. Ospreay looks amazing out of this match, and I guess it's time to start working towards him versus the winner of the main event for the world title at All In. Next up is the Young Bucks, Nicholas Jackson and Matthew Jackson versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team titles, the vacant tag titles. And this match was a great chapter in their series of matches. I wasn't actually excited about this being a ladder match at first, and I know many others weren't, but I think in the end it was actually a right idea because it's a different profile of match from their other matches. If they did a Bucks versus FTR 4, just regular 2v2, it probably would have felt the same as a lot of the other matches. So doing a ladder match and having a hardcore match in their series of matches, their playlist of matches, it really mixes things up, and it was great. There were loads of ladder spots and table spots, guys smashing through tables and ladders. You had the Young Bucks with a 450 splash to, I believe, Dax through the table. Then Cash Wheeler came flying through the ropes into a table set up on the barricade. It was absolutely wild. But at the final act of the match, Dax Harwood is alone on the ladder, and all of a sudden he can't climb the ladder for some reason, as a masked man comes in, tips the ladder over, costs Dax the win, who probably had enough time to grab it, like I said, and Scapegoat Jack Perry is revealed as the masked man, as the Young Bucks climb the ladder and grab the belts themselves. You know what, I did predict this happening. I didn't know if they actually would do it. I have no idea if Jack Perry is now joining this stable with the Young Bucks and Okada, but they've gone full in with this all-in backstage footage stuff. They've used it for the storyline. This match was good in the end. Did they need the Jack Perry interference? I don't know if they did, but I think they were always going to do it. And I guess we'll just see where it goes from here. This was a good match regardless, and I guess Jack Perry is now back in AEW. And then we move on to our main event as Samoa Joe is defending his World Championship against Swerve Strickland. Swerve has the Black Panther entrance. It's an awesome entrance, and this match as a whole was really awesome. The crowd was still super hot for this match, even despite the long show and the matches before it. And we all know what the result of this match was going to be and what it needed to be. And after we saw that Black Panther entrance, there was no way they couldn't do it. There was a moment towards the end of the match where I really thought this should have been the finish, where Swerve is beating up on Joe and the camera shows him and the title in the frame, and he looks at the title and realizes what he's fighting for, and then goes and hits some crazy mad move on him. I don't even know what it was called, and got a mad near fall. I really thought that was 3 and really thought it should have been 3, but they went to the finish pretty soon after that as Swerve hit the Swerve Stomp on him and got the win and wins the World Championship. A huge moment for Swerve, a huge moment for AEW, and a great main event. Shout out to Samoa Joe, who was probably never planned to be an AEW World Champion, at least from my own presumption, but listen, what a champion he was. I'm glad he got a 4-month reign out of it and he wasn't just a transitional champion. He did a good job as a champion, I think. Anyway, final thoughts on the show. This was one of the best AEW pay-per-views ever. I really mean that. And with the card on paper as good as it was to be expected. But I think top to bottom, every single match exceeded expectations. Even Hook versus Jericho, despite the awful finish, it was just a standard weapons match, and I like weapons matches, so I don't mind it. Though that obviously doesn't change the fact that Jericho winning was terrible booking, and this match probably shouldn't have even been on the card in the first place, and Hook should have been doing something else. But that's it from me, guys. Let me know what you thought of this show in the comments down below, what your match of the night was. Personally, for me, other than Danielson Ospreay, I loved Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. Like the video for more wrestling content, subscribe to be the first one to see it. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.